Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you see this video. So, today I am Muhammad Atsil Lefullah with student ID number 3036 from MBAL KBI class, Environmental Engineering, Andalas University. I will try to present to you about the community capacity building in flood disaster mitigation effort in 50 kota regency. So let's start our presentation. So first, this is the list of the content that appear in this presentation. First, about the introduction of disaster and also the layout of 50 kota regency. And the second is about implementation of the method that they use in this journal. And then the third about the result and discussion, also about the opinion of this journal. And the fourth about the conclusion. So let's jump into the introduction part. So for the introduction, first, we know that disaster-prone condition encompass various aspects such as geological, hydrological, climatological, social, economic, and technological factor. So because of that, we must have the mitigation. So the mitigation effort aim to reduce disaster risk through physically and also awareness building. And after that, we also must to increase the community capacity because it's crucial in dealing with the flood disaster. And for the 50 kota regency, they are try to face the increase of flood and landslide risk due to the factor like conversion, rainfall intensity, and residential development in vulnerable zones. And for the recent flood and landslide that happened in 50 kota regency, that happened in Pangkalan and Kapur 9 sub-district, resulted in the significant loss of life and property. So the recent floods in the 50 kota also happened in 3 months ago in December 2023. This happened and make a lot of loss in life and also property. And then the flood in 50 kota regency are primarily caused by the overflow of multiple rivers because in the 50 kota regency is surrounding by the many river like Batang Mahat, Batang Sanan, Batang Talagiri, Batang Keso, and Batang Mangilang River. So this is the video about the flood in 50 kota. This is the first one is the floods in 2017 and the flood that recently happened in 2023. So we let's see the how the difference and how the flood in this year. First, the flood in 2017. I will show the video.
Kabupaten 50 kota dilanda banjir hingga lebih 1 meter. Selain melumpuhkan aktivitas warga, Jalan Sumba Riau juga terputus total. Beginilah kondisi banjir di salah satu titik di Kecamatan Pangkalan yang hasil direkam.
Condition of the 50 kota, one of the district in the 50 kota when in the 2017. You can see here that it also people cannot doing their activity like usually because the flood is height of half of the old people, and you can see in here the mosque is drowned by the flood.
Banjir terjadi setelah Sungai Batang Kampar dan Sungai Batang Kampar.
So this happened because of the river. The river is not enough space to contain the water, so the water is through to the residency.
Warga yang terdampak banjir. Ya, kini belum ada laporan adanya korban jiwa.
So after 2017, there are several flood happen in 50 kota, but it's not as big as 2017. But in 2023, it happened again, the big flood in 50 kota. So let's see uh, the condition of the 50 kota in 2023 floods. So you can see in this video, it's not different in 2017. So we can conclude here that still not have the right mitigation of the uh, flood. So you can see also here there is BPBD, the in Indonesia is Badan Penanggulangan Bencana Daerah, that have a responsibility to mitigation or mitigate the people in the disaster. So they have to responsibility to rescue the victim of the flood and the other disaster. You can see here the people cannot do activity, the normal activity like usually. So the flow rate or the flow of the flood, it's also dangerous that can make people uh, like disappear into this flow. So it's also dangerous for human. So that's that for the flood, the condition of the 50 kota in the flood condition. So the next part is we talk about the impact of the flooding on environmental infrastructure. So we know that the flood is make several loss of the building of the also the life of the people, but they are also have loss in the infrastructure. So environmental infrastructure that usually affected by the flood is like transmission pipe in the PDAM, and in this case also the landfill in the Payakumbuh that also affected by the heavy rainfall and the flood. So the first we can see in this slide about the victim, the people of the 50 kota is not have the clean water. So maybe for my experience also, after we got the flood, it's very difficult to search to see to find clear water because usually the transmission pipe is affected by the flood. So the PDAM cannot cannot flow the water from the uh, water treatment plant into the home, into the house of the people. So is it the vital of the impact of the flood? So we can see in this video. So this video show us about the flood that affect the transmission pipe. So the transmission pipe in the river, in the bridge. So it can affect it uh, if the flood more high.
Tempat pembuangan akhir sampah lagi.
But in this case, not also the flood impacted the transmission pipe and the water. They also impact the landfill. So because of the heavy rainfall, the landfill in Payakumbuh Regional, that also the landfill in the 50 kota, because there is a one regional have a landslide. So the landfill cannot use anymore, cannot use until the the like preparedness to open again. So the trust in the 50 kota and in Payakumbuh is cannot throw into the landfill and make the city, the regency of the 50 kota and Payakumbuh it full of the trust, because the people cannot throw the trust into the landfill. So this is we can show the video about it.
Penutupan tempat pembuangan akhir sampah regional Payakumbuh, Sumatera Barat membuat sampah sulit diangkut dan berserakan di pinggir jalan protokol. Pemerintah kota masih kesulitan mengangkut sampah ke TPA yang jaraknya sangat jauh.
So you see in here, because of rainfall, there is a landslide in the landfill of Payakumbuh Regional that also affect the 50 Kota Regency, because they only have one landfill in Payakumbuh and 50 Kota.
Jalan protokol. Pemkot Payakumbuh telah membuang sampah ke TPA air di Kota Padang. Jaraknya sekitar 20 km dari Payakumbuh.
So because of the landslide in the landfill, the trust in the Payakumbuh or 50 Kota must transport to the Padang city that have a long distance from the 50 Kota and Payakumbuh. So it's very, very difficult to the people in 50 Kota.
Ini Pemkot dan Pemprov terus berkoordinasi untuk penanganan darurat sampah. Tri Purnama melaporkan dari Payakumbuh, Sumatera Barat.
So that's for how the disaster of the flood and also the impact or effect to the infrastructure, like other infrastructure and also the environmental infrastructure. So based on that, we must have the like pre-disaster movement, pre-disaster action. So based on that, this journal have the methods how to mitigate or how to make the pre-disaster action to mitigate the flood in several years again. So there are 5 methods here. So first, the method is the purpose to strengthening and establish disaster institution. The method is FGD, forum group discussion for all elements. The output that need here to the formation of disaster institution, starting from the most basic level of government to the district level. And then for the second, the purpose is to assessing the zoning prone to flooding and landslide. The method is use GIS and also the FGD. The output is map of zoning prone to flooding and landslide. And the third, about the purpose of conducting socialization of disaster education. The method is lecturers, that like general lecturers and also Q&A. The output is improve the understanding of the people and increase the skill in dealing with the disaster. And the fourth is reducing disaster risk factors. The method is also lecturers and Q&A and also FGD. So the output is about proposal and direction for conservation policy and regulation, as well as environmental improvement. And the purpose is to improve the preparedness on all fronts, The method is the lecturers and Q&A and also FGD. And the output is improved understanding and increased skill in dealing with disaster. So for the result in this question, first, we must know about the geographical features in this 50 Kota Regency. So the 50 Kota Regency situated in the West Sumatra province with the coordinate that you can see in this slide. And also the 50 Kota Regency approximately have 41% of the area is the slope has a slope exceeding to 27% and indicating steep and rugged topography, while flat area comprise only about the flat area only 15% of the total land area. And for the geological characteristic, the reserve falls within the Bukit Barisan zone and is predominantly shaped by uplift and volcanic process, and landforms include denudational, structural, volcanic, and karst formation, along with fluvial landforms resulting from water erosion. And then geologically, the area consists of mainly alluvium or QH and limestone mixed with slits TMS, indicating the sedimentary disposition and metamorphic rock formation due to the high pressure and temperature. So you can see in this slide, there is a figure 1 of map of slope of 50 Kota Regency, and then map of landform and map of geology. The next is about the rainfall patterns. So for the research, this research area experience variable rainfall intensity with an average annual precipitation ranging from 3,500 to 4,000 millimeter per year, and orographic rainfall influenced by topography leads to the higher rainfall intensity upstream and reduce the intensity in the lower lying area. And then for the land use and also the carrying capacity, land use analysis based on the landslide OLI for imaginary from 2021 reveals significant forest cover with approximately 70% of the forest that area convert to the secondary forest. So it's also bad news. And the land carrying capacity analysis indicate that 55% of the research area fall into the low category and 30% in the medium category and 50% in the high category. This distribution is influenced by regional topography and soil types, with most area having steep slope like bigger than 17% and soil prone to erosion and landslide. So this slide you can see about the map of land use and map of land carrying capacity. So for the population pressure and environmental impact, we know that increasing population density leads to the smaller cultivated area and intensifying pressure on land resource. So we must reduce the increasing of the population, and the land serve as crucial natural resource supporting human activity, particularly agriculture, and affect the standard of living. And the environmental carrying capacity defined by law number 23 1997 highlights the ability of the environment to sustain human and other living organism life. And the analysis of land carrying capacity in the Kampar watershed underscores the significance of regional topography and soil characteristic in influencing land stability and susceptibility to erosion and landslide. And then for my opinion from this journal, generally first for the comprehensive approach, this journal covers flood disaster mitigation comprehensively, considering geographic features, community empowerment, and mitigation strategies. And then also they have stakeholder engagement it involves academia like Universitas Negeri Padang and local government and communities. This is crucial for effective disaster management. And for practical recommendation, it suggests enhancing community capacity, academic support, and collaboration for future flood mitigation. And also, I think that there is not mentioned in this journal, but I think there is also have a plan in the like government plan in the areal plan. So people not building their home in the near to the river, near to the like water area. So they not impact the water and not impact the river. So they don't have flood again. So this is for my opinion about this journal generally. So you can see in here, this is the how we can mitigate the flood and landslide in the 50 kota. There is about this journal method. First about like I said before, and this is the lecture, the discussion, and also the Q&A session. So the conclusion overall of this presentation, first, the factor influencing flood disaster, such as climatology, watershed characteristic, and human behavior are three primary factors influencing flood disaster. And the mitigation effort to address flood disaster involve increasing community capacity and increasing public awareness of the environment to seeking alternative economic source and increasing added value are essential mitigation strategies. And the role of higher education like LP2M and university or Universitas Negeri Padang, LP2M at Universitas Negeri Padang serve Negari Lubuk Alai, Kapur 9 District, and 50 Kota Regency as part of its commitment to the three Dharma of higher education. And for the recommendation, BPBD 50 Kota Regency is recommended to prioritize increasing community capacity to minimize the disaster risk. And then LP2M at University Negeri Padang should continue funding community service activities in the Nagari Lubuk Alai, Kapur 9 District, 50 Kota Regency. And all stakeholders are encouraged to engage in synergistic cooperation to effectively mitigate the risk of future flood disaster. So this is my reference for this slide. I found and I searched from the news and also the journal. So I think that's all for me. I apologize if there are any mistake in the pronunciation and also the delivery of the material of the presentation. So I think that's all for me. Thank you very much. I will end with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.